Hey guys, Brian from Boas here. If you've been following the channel, you know I love Argentine Boas, and they are definitely one of the most popular locality boas available right now. So today I wanted to give you guys a brief update on some of my Argentine Boa projects. I'm going to also discuss the Maxx Pink Bloodline, since I acquired an animal from this project relatively recently, and say a little bit about my plans for the next couple years ahead, hopefully to be breeding these beautiful Argentine Boas. So it's been a little while since I bred Argentines. My last breeding was back in 2015, and I had a pair that I've had since the 90s, and unfortunately they passed away after that litter within the next few years. I kept some of the babies as holdbacks, and those have been growing up nicely, and they're actually ready to breed my females. Unfortunately, I didn't have a male until relatively recently, so I've been growing up some males as breeders to introduce to my females, and this is one of them. And this guy, actually it's the last reptile that I bought, and may well be the last one because I'm pretty much a closed collection at this point. But this is a beautiful Maxx Pink Bloodline Argentine male. So the Maxx Pink is a bloodline that was founded by Bob Guerriere, and he's got a website, Ancient Reproductions, so you can check out his website if you want more information. But basically what he did is to bring out the pink colors on Argentine Boas through selective breeding. And you may know that the Argentines, naturally all of them have this pink colors as babies, and the pink is mostly in between the saddles, like this guy. But typically the pink fades within about a year or so, and then as they grow up they get darker and they adopt their adult coloration. But the Maxx Pink has been bred over the last few decades, over multiple generations, and it now produces animals that retain this pinkish color until adulthood. And this guy I got about a year ago, so he's now about 3 years old. He's put on quite a bit of size since I got him, and actually I did an unboxing video, so you can check out the unboxing video if you want to see that. But he's just looking really good. You can see the pink blotches basically in between each of the saddles where the circle pattern is. There's this pink blotch, and it's really kind of a more pinkish, purplish, brownish color, kind of chocolatey, really cool looking color. And then you can see they have a really cool pattern. So Argentines always have this kind of reticulated or net-like pattern. The saddles are kind of broken up, but it really looks good in this particular bloodline. So really cool looking animal. Looking forward to crossing this guy into some of my other Argentine Boas to generate more diversity in how they look. And this guy, definitely has a really cool look to him. I want to give you guys an overall close-up look at this beautiful Maxx Pink Argentine Boa, and you can see the identifying feature are these pink blotches between the saddles. Right, you can see he's got kind of a circle back pattern, beautiful pink blotch. It's really not pink, it's actually a lot more complicated than pink. There's definitely a chocolatey and a magenta influence there. So just really beautiful colors. And this guy is 3 years old, and he's still retaining the colors. Normally you only see the pink colors in babies that fades quite quickly, and these guys will retain the pink color to adulthood. So the other thing that that I note about these guys is that overall the colors are a little lighter than my other Argentines, and they also have this cool kind of linear side pattern. You can see it's kind of this complicated, reticulated or net-like pattern, but just really beautiful look, and really excited to have this Maxx Pink Bloodline to go into my breeding projects with my other Argentine bloodlines. I have another male that I acquired not too long ago, and this guy is about the same age as my Maxx Pink. This guy is just the standard non-selectively bred, wild type looking Argentine Boa. And so you can see this guy has this beautiful kind of slate gray and black and white pattern. Maybe a little bit more black and white than my females, which I'll show you in a minute, who are kind of more of a creamy, off-white markings on kind of a dark chocolatey black background. But just a lot of, subtle differences in these Argentines. But they're all, really beautiful animals. And so this guy, like my Maxx Pink, they're not big enough to breed this year. They may be big enough to breed in 2022. Just have to see, but there's definitely a possibility that I might have a pairing next year, and then I would think that if not next year, definitely in 2023. This guy's also been growing quite rapidly, and just shows you, why I'm so enthusiastic about these Argentine Boas. They've just got a really cool pattern. You can see the sides. He's got kind of these semicircular markings and kind of a broken up network-like pattern. You can still see the saddles, but with these Argentine Boas, as they get bigger, the saddles become less and less distinctive. And this guy is kind of, midway through that change. So I expect that, the pattern will get a little bit more broken up, and his colors will kind of get a little more dark and contrasty as he ages. And incidentally, this guy, as a baby, started off with the pink markings, like the Maxx pink, but then they faded when he was about, a year and a half or so. And so the Maxx pink I wanted to mention, this isn't like a morph like a dominant recessive or incomplete dominant. It's basically a polygenic trait caused or controlled by a number of different genes. And so when you cross two of the Maxx pink animals together, some of the babies will have even more intense pink, some will be similar, some will have less intense pink. When you cross a Maxx pink with a non-Maxx pink, basically you'll get some babies with some of the pink, some of them will have less pink. In general, it's not going to be as intense as, if you just have one parent. But it's a cool trait that you can introduce into your projects, see where it goes. I know at Ancient Reproductions on the website, they say they've been doing this for, I think, like four or more generations now. But now they're planning on introducing some outcrossing to try to see what kind of looks they can generate with the Maxx pink. So I'm, looking forward to crossing it into my projects as well. And so this guy, again, might be ready next year to pair up with one of my older females. The males can breed, of course, at a younger age, with a minimum of about 3 to 4 years old for a male. The females really should be, at least 4, if not 5 years old to breed. And so why don't I show you a couple of my females. This is one of my adult female Argentines. This is a 2015 born baby. And she's probably about 6, maybe even 6.5 feet, getting quite big. You can see her colors are a little more on the dark chocolate spectrum rather than a black. And her markings are a little more of a kind of a off-white or caramel. And again, the Argentine colors range. Some of them are more of a stark black and white. Others are more kind of a dark chocolate and off-white cream markings. But they're all really nice looking. Really cool boa. Not sure if this one, if I pair her with either the Maxx pink or my non-Maxx pink male, we'll just have to see. Still a little bit up in the air. But she's doing real well, and looking forward to getting her into breeding trials. Finally, we have one more whole-back female from my 2015 litter. This is a full sibling to the one I just showed you. And this girl, like her sister, she's got kind of more of a dark chocolatey markings with kind of off-white and caramel, or dark chocolatey background color with the off-white and caramel markings. Just a really cool look on this one. Her saddles are kind of broken up, and when I take pictures of her in the right light, it almost looks like the markings are stars, against the sky, if that makes sense. And she's trying to get up to the rafters above me, like most of my snakes do when I'm filming these videos. But pretty big girl, one of my larger boas. I suspect that she'll get bigger. These Argentines occasionally can get up to 9 to 10 feet. Both of the parents of this litter were around 8.5 or 9 feet. So they were a little bit longer and chunkier than this girl. But one of the larger boas. Really cool. They've become very popular in the last few years. For a long time, people apparently didn't want them because of the dark coloration, which is kind of crazy because I think they're really gorgeous animals, and I think a lot of you guys agree. But I think they finally regained their place as far as the popularity. They're also a great boa because they're relatively simple to care for. They're more hardy and cold tolerant than certainly the true red tails and a lot of the other more tropical boas, because these are from a more southerly, more temperate or subtropical climate in Argentina and some of the neighboring countries in the middle of South America. But definitely a cool species to work with, one of my top favorites. If I only had a few boas, Argentine would definitely be on the list. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video looking at these Argentine boas, and we'll see about pairing up for next year, but if all things go well, hopefully I'll have some babies in the not too distant future. As always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to shoot me a line. Thanks for watching and enjoy your boas.